Yes. Now, I know, well, let's say almost everybody who I know, in this world, somehow trying to put a meaning to their life. Seriously, because I'll tell you what, when you take a really close look at this life, you could make certain decisions that might seem really useful for you, and it might just be nonsense. Seriously. Now, I look at it this way. There must be a purpose, a grand purpose for I being here, for you being here. The only thing we have to basically find that purpose. And I know when I say find your purpose, you might be thinking what kind of profession you come here to do for the rest of your life. No, I'm talking about the kind of purpose that would enhance your life here. And I'm not talking about in the material sense, and enhance your life. I'll give you an opportunity to live your life after you pass through here. Okay. Now, a lot of people will tell you that, hey, I'm just enjoying my life. Okay, what life? You comes here, you spend how much? 50 years, 70 years, 60 years. That is a very short time. So then you spend those times, you enjoy it, what you call enjoyment. You drink rum, you party, you have sex, you make children, you do wickedness. You are free agent just going through and doing as you please, and then you die. Before you die, the way you live your life in such a way that there is no tomorrow, there is no afterlife, there is no anything. All you want to do is enjoy your life. I will tell you this. If I look at my life that way, I would pray that I would have never been born, because that don't make any sense. Because the things that people do and call it enjoyment is things that I've done, like when I was pretty young, and I get bored with this thing real fast. Seriously. I get bored with most of those things really, really quick. Because at the end of the day, I can't see a purpose in doing certain things, you know? And I can't see how does it enhance my life? How does it make me a better person? And to me, the objective in my life is to be a better person every day, for the rest of my life, just being the best person I could be, you know, how I treat myself, how I treat other people, stuff like that, you know, and because I do believe that is what we have to do, you know, and as the scripture actually said, we definitely have one purpose, and that purpose is to serve our Elohim, you know. And if we have that purpose to serve our Elohim, then according to the scripture, and according to how you even look at yourself, you realize that you are not the kind of being that just come here, spend a few years and die and finish. You would know that deep within you, you would know that. So you realize that you have to seek for a higher purpose in this life. You have a lot of people who go about living their life just basic. You eat, you drink, you go to work, you do certain things, and you don't think about what really, really, really matters. You are concerned with car, you are concerned with house, you are concerned with everything else. But what really, really matters, that don't cross your mind, you know. And those are the things that are important. The whole idea of how you making yourself a better person. Now, we understand what is happening in this world today. Today, you find that there are so many distractions upon distractions. As soon as you try to escape one, there is another distraction in your way. So, what happens is that If you have to walk the walk of our Elohim, it will be a constant fight. It will be like every day, because you will be going up against all the wiles of Satan. And when I say that, I'm talking about all the tricks, you understand, that exist, you'll be going up against, because all these things will be coming at you. You know, it will be coming at you, and it will be coming at you real fast. You know, you just have to stay awake. That is important. Just stay awake and be observant. Observe your thoughts. Observe what you're doing. Oh, look at what people are doing. You know, stay away. You know, don't get too much involved in this world. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So it will be a constant fight. And most people are weak. You know, most people are so weak that they wouldn't even make the effort to make that grand change, because okay, the scripture tell you have to have a renewal of mind. You know, you have to change your way of thinking. Most people, it's just like if that is a hard task to do. You know, it doesn't be easy when you have so much going against you. But then if you humble yourself and you decide, well, I'm gonna seek the Most High or Elohim, just like how you will say, oh, you know, I'm gonna stop smoke cigarette, I'm gonna stop go to do this. Yes, I'm gonna stick with our Elohim, and you'll realize everything will fall into play, and then it become part of your life. It's a way of life, you know. So all I'm saying is this: how is it that people live their life in this basic way? You know, how does it make sense? You know, I always ask myself, it's like, how do people look at themselves? You know, on this on this creation, how do they actually look at themselves? You know, do they see themselves as just people who will come here and be victims of a system that they don't even fully understand? And then if they get food, they get food, or they walk to death to get food, or whatever they do, then they die and they finish. How could you see yourself like that? So I'm wondering, well, what sense does it make if your life is like that? You know, what sense does it make if life on a whole is like that? What is the purpose of we being here if all we have to do is to come here, eat, drink, make children, and die like animals? You understand? How does it make sense? I can't see the sense in that. That is why I realize that, you know, based on the Holy Scriptures, we have a higher purpose, you know, and our purpose is to serve our Elohim. It does be really good to have a union, you know, because where two or three is gathered, the Most High Elohim is always in the midst to bless. So it's always a good thing to have not you alone, but somebody else. You don't want to be like John and Patmos. You know, at least you may not want to be like that. If the Most High decide to have you like that, then there is no choice you have but to be like that. But then it is better to be like maybe Adam and Eve in the garden, you know, and somebody else, or you and somebody, you know, me and somebody, and you know, things like that. Right. So to actually create this atmosphere that the Most High Elohim so desire. So what I am saying is this: to live your life the way the Most High have you live it is the best thing that could happen to you. The best thing that could happen to me. It takes humility, you know. It takes love. It takes commitment. It takes a whole lot of determination and getting over yourself. You know, it actually takes that. You know, it actually takes the whole idea of reaching out. You know, it just takes you coming out of that shell of yours, and me coming out of that shell of mine, and reaching out to our Elohim, who is actually stretching his hand towards us. You know, we have to do that. Otherwise, if we do not want to do that, then that means our life will just useless. We come here and we just die like animals. Because the scripture says that, you know, we are like gods, but we would die like men. So then why would we die like men? We would die like men because if you look at men's activities, is animal. You know, it's just that some animals don't really talk, so you could understand, but they have the language. You know, and the more the world get older, is the more backward we become. You know, most of you may not realize it, but the more backward we are becoming, because we are living savagely in this time, savagely with each other. You understand? We are living like savages. Yes, we have technology, we have this, we have that, you have phones, you have computers, you have TV, technology. But as a people, we have gone backward. You understand? So until we learn to step up and have the attributes of gods, we will die like animals. We will die basic. You understand? Most of us like to run around and say, hey, we come from kings and queens. We are gods. Okay. The scripture even say we are gods. You understand? But do you want somebody to worship you? There is only one worshipable Elohim, and that is Yahuwah. You understand? Only one. Okay? Now we have the attributes. We could create, we could speak and it could happen. We reproduce, we make children, we do a whole lot of things. We could think, we know good and evil. Yes, attributes of a God, and a lot more. But then, with those attributes, in most of our hands, it is useless because we don't even make an effort to awaken it. And most of us, if we say that we are God and we come from kings and queens, we walk around like if we're better than everybody else. Simple. It's like you having a gun and you don't know which part is the muzzle, which part is the trigger. So you just doing nonsense. So at the end of the day, we have to put things in the right perspective. We have to know exactly what the Most our Elohim have us do on the face of the earth. We have to get to know that. That is how you'll know why you are here. And then if you get to realize why you are here, and you start following why you are here and doing why you are here, you'll realize everything else on the face of the earth is just nonsense. Seriously. You will just use them for what they have to be used for. You will never worship idols anymore. You'll never follow all these false doctrines and nonsense they have running around in this time. They won't. You understand? You won't. So then we have to most definitely know where we come off at all times. We must know that. We must have to know why we are here. And if you don't know why you are here, and you think that coming here and being a doctor, or being a nurse, or being a mechanic is the reason you come here, joke you make it. That is not the reason you come here. You understand? That is not the reason you come here. The scripture say you have one single mission to do. He said, let us say the conclusion of the matter. Serve Yah and keep his commandments, for that is the sole duty of man. That is all you come here to do. Nothing else. But during the time you are here, you can't stick around idle, because you can't serve our Elohim with idle hands. When you have so much idle hands, you have to work, because he say, at the sweat of thy brow thou shalt eat bread. So you have to sweat, you have to work. That is why he give you sweat glands. That is why he give you hands. That is why he give you lands, and he give you gardens, and he give you things to do so that you could keep yourself occupied and and stuff like that, because the Most High really doesn't like lazy. So and the way he make your body in a way that you should not be lazy. You have to be active. So with that, once you get to know your purpose, then step up on it. That is all. It's a simple thing. Otherwise, if you really look back at your life and how you live in your life, you'll realize that all that is just nonsense. It's just useless. Most people, when the time coming to die, that will be the most frightening time in their whole life. They'll be terrified. Yes, because sometimes before you die, you start looking back at your life. Hey, I achieved this, I achieved that. But then, what do you actually get from life? That's the big question. What are you getting? What did you get from life, or what you contributed to life? You understand? And then most of the time, you sum this thing up, and you become your own judge. You condemn your own self. We are here for a grand purpose, to serve our Elohim. Love his people, treat his people right, do what we should do so our next brethren could make it through the day. Visit the sick, visit the poor, visit the hungry, clothe up the naked. Do things. Do things to enhance yourself in the presence of our Elohim. Have faith in him, worship him, serve him in spirit and in truth, and you'll be all right. And that is what makes sense. That is how life will make sense. Life wouldn't make sense, or it might appear to the simple mind to make sense when all you could do is to run around, try to make a money, worship yourself. It might seem as though it's making sense to you. But then one day you will take a seat, and then you will look at all the things you'll do, and you'll see how useless that is. The only how this life could make sense is if you decide to serve our Elohim. Peace. Have a wonderful evening.